Shoto Todoroki ex-listener. Scars. You and Shoto were cuddling in his dorm while watching a movie, like you always did on Friday nights to de-stress from the week and to take a break from training. You were lying on Shoto's chest, and he had his left arm around your waist, warming your side. Your eyelids began to feel heavy, from the warmth of Shoto's quirk and the rise and fall of his chest. However, you couldn't completely relax, as Shoto had been acting odd all day. He seemed like he had something on his mind, as he kept staring off into space and leaving his sentences half-finished. You looked up at him, only to see him staring blankly at the movie. He seemed to be watching it, but not really processing what was happening. You frowned, trying to figure out if you had done anything wrong. You couldn't think of anything, and out of desperation, you tapped his chest slightly. He didn't react, and you sighed. You tapped again, and he still didn't answer. You huffed, then said loudly, "Shoto!" He shook his head violently, snapping out of his trance, and looked down at you in confusion and panic. "What? Is something wrong?" You looked at him, concerned. "No, not with me at least. Something's on your mind. Did something happen?" Shoto's eyes looked away from yours and he mumbled, "No, nothing happened." You huffed again and sat up quickly. You didn't get angry with him often, but your patience was starting to wear thin. You looked at him as you raised your brow. "Seriously, Shoto, we've talked about this. You can trust me." When Shoto and you had first started dating, Shoto was closed off and didn't share much with you. It had taken months, but eventually he had begun to open up and share his past with you. He had told you about his mother and how she was living in a hospital because of the mental trauma caused by Endeavor, his father. He had shared how Endeavor had constantly made him train while he was younger, until he couldn't stand anymore. He told you how his mother had poured boiling water on his left side and tried to use her ice quirk to ease the pain, which made it worse. When he had first told you about his childhood, you were filled with anger and sadness. The fact that he had grown up without his mother and how his father seemed to only care about him for power had disturbed you. And when he had first told you everything, the first thing you had done was thrown your arms around him and held him close. Now, you thought he had finally begun to trust you, but that belief had begun to falter. Shoto pushed the hair out of his face and touched the scar covering it the left side. You calmly waited for his answer, looking at him as he fiddled with his hair. Finally, he turned to look at you and said quietly, "Do you think I'm handsome?" Your eyes widened, not only in confusion, but in shock. Shoto always appeared confident and didn't really show much care about his looks often. You blinked, then responded, "Well, duh! What kind of question is that?" Shoto touched the scar on his face and said, "The scar I feel like it's the only thing people see when they look at me. I thought I didn't care, but I've been noticing it a lot more recently. Like, when I'm talking to someone, their eyes go straight to my left side, and..." Shoto clenched his jaw and spat angrily. "I don't want that. I don't want the only thing people see when they look at me are the results of my father's actions. It's just a constant reminder of what he did to my mom." You looked at him, then grabbed his left hand. You said softly, "Maybe it doesn't have to be a constant reminder of what he did." Shoto looked down at your intertwined hands, then looked back up at you and replied, "What do you mean?" You rubbed your thumb along his knuckles, then smiled and said, "Well, personally, I like to think of scars as a representation of what you've been through, and how you're still standing." Shoto looked at you expectantly, and you realized he thought you were going to continue. Your eyes widened and you cleared your throat. "Well," you paused for a second, trying to think of something. After a few moments, you said suddenly, "Okay, I think I have an example. Let's say you had hurt your knee in an accident, and had to get surgery, and you weren't able to, try it for the track team. So you worked for months to get better, and you began to do more things on your own, like walking to get a glass of water or taking a stroll around your neighborhood. Finally, your doctor cleared you to try it for the track team the next year, and you got in. Now, as you cross the finish line, you can look at your knee to see the scar that had once held you back, but now it doesn't anymore. Does that make sense, Shoto?" Shoto looked at you, then nodded. Another thing popped into your head, and you piped up again. "And I think that scars aren't just physical. I think there can be internal scars that you can't necessarily see, but you know that they're there, and that you've made your way past them." You looked at Shoto, waiting for him to say something. Suddenly, he looked up, and he was smiling wildly. He said, "That actually makes me feel a lot better." You sighed in relief, then began to ramble. "Oh, that's good. I was just kind of spitballing..." Shoto cut you off as he grabbed the sides of your face and kissed you. Your eyes widened again, and you mumbled in surprise, but as he continued to press his lips against yours, your eyes fluttered shut, and you placed your hands on his chest. Once you both pulled away from each other, you placed your forehead against his and whispered, "Your scars are beautiful, Shoto. Don't forget that." He looked at you and smiled. "I won't." Hello! Hello, hi. This is my first video on this channel and I do hope you enjoyed it. If my voice is a little weird, my throat has been bothering me a little bit, and I just had breathing issues, period, so that's why. I really hope you enjoyed it. I know this one was kind of short, but this is probably going to be the length that I want to do, so I can get more videos out, but I just want to still have quality control too. So I'm going to try to post as often as I can, but school is starting up again, so I'll try to post at least once a week, and I'm going to try to hold myself to that standard. Like I said, I hope you really liked this this fanfiction reading, and it was written by me, so as will most scripts on this channel. If you do have any ideas you'd like to request, I would be happy to read them and I would love to put them into fruition. The art is not mine, however, and all rights go to the original artist. I also do not own any characters from My Hero Academia, as all rights go to Kohei Horikoshi, the original author. I'm gonna try to post again this week, and it will hopefully be a Shinso X Insomniac listener. I'll try to get that out as soon as I can. By the way, I do have an art channel called Ichigo Art, so you should definitely go check that out if you're interested, and I would love to see you there as well. If you have any characters also you would like to request, and like I said, any ideas, I'm always looking for inspiration, so that would really help me out, and I would love to know what you guys want and stuff. That is all for today. I hope really to see you next time, because it was fun having you here. So if you want to see when my next video comes out, just subscribe and turn those notifications can't speak the notification bell on. And during this audio recording, if you hear my voice go a little weird, it's probably because I was just being really shy, even though I'm alone right now. So I may have started to laugh a little bit. But I had to record this multiple times because I kept laughing or messing up like insane and then cussing and then being like, nope, I need to restart and stuff. So I'm sorry about that. Also, if you can hear my air conditioner, I'm sorry, because I was recording this and then it started all of a sudden and I was like, okay, cool, that's perfect. But if you hear that, I'm sorry, but I hope maybe the background music will kind of help drown it out. But like I said, that's all for today. Go check out my art channel, Ichigo Art, if you're interested, and I really hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for listening. Bye!